Okay, guys, we're going to make a super cool Chinese New Year picture now that you've learned a little bit about Chinese New Year. So it's going to look like this with our buildings at the top with an ancient looking Chinese uh, building here with some modern buildings next to it because there's old China and there's new China. And then we'll also make some reflections. This is water down here. If you can see, this is a bridge and some water. So we'll also learn how to make the reflection. So the first thing we're going to do is with our oil pastel, and these are oil pastels, and they're kind of like a cross between the crayon and paint. We're going to make a horizon line, and the horizon line is a line that goes across our paper. So I'm going to make it down here. Oops, my pastel just broke, so I'm going to just use this little piece. And now I'm making it across the bottom, but I'm making it towards the bottom, but not at the very bottom. I'm leaving some space. And this is going to be this where our water is going to be below here, but our buildings are going to be on top. So I make it a little bit thick, okay? Not real thick, but kind of thick, okay? And on top of that, we're going to start to make our buildings, and we're going to make our old ancient looking building first. So to do that, I take my yellow pastel and I just make a rectangle. I know it looks tough, but it's really just a rectangle with a square and a triangle on top. So I'm right about here, okay, over from the side, leave a little bit of room. I make my rectangle, okay, and on top of that I'm going to make another rectangle. On top of that, I'm going to make a square. And then on top of that, I'm going to make a triangle. And to make it look more authentic or real, I'm going to make these curly cues on each side. Okay. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to color this in, but I'm going to leave windows. I'm drawing in my windows, and then I'm going to color around my windows. Okay? See how I'm doing that? Okay. I'll do that on each level. Okay, and there's my first building. And I'm going to put a little point at the top because there's a point at the top of it. Okay, and now I'm going to make some buildings off in the background. So I'm going to use my white pastel to make my next building, which is kind of a modern looking building. And it's got kind of a curvy top. I can curve it a little bit more. Because in my picture it's got kind of a unique looking top to it. And then to make it look like a building, I'm going to put lines from the green up to the top. And then put lines across it like this. Now it looks like I've made my windows. Okay, and I'm going to leave that little curve on the top like that. And to make my last building, I'm going to make another rectangle shape. So you guys realize I'm just using simple shapes. A lot of rectangles, rectangle, rectangle, square, tall rectangle, tall rectangle. Okay, and this one happens to have two little lines with a triangle on top. Okay, and what I'll do is, again, I'll make lines in it for my windows, and this one's further away, so my squares or my rectangles for the windows are going to be a little bit smaller. Okay, and I'm coloring the top there. All right, now I'm going to make the reflection of these buildings. And to do that, I just take my paper and I spin it, and I'm going to draw the same things I drew on this side. So I'm going to make a rectangle. But you know what? It doesn't have to look really good because It's just the reflection. So I'm just going to draw in the basic shapes. I'm going to just color it a little bit, not the whole way, and you'll see why in a second, because I'm going to make this look like water. So then I do some lines here, and then I take my orange and I do some lines here. Okay. Now to make it look like a reflection, I'll show you how to do that in a second. But now, if you notice in the picture, the sky is red. So we want to make the sky red, so we'll take our red pastel, okay, and we're going to kind of just color in the sky. And the cool thing with pastels, guys, is when you're working on like dark paper like this is black paper, pastels still show up pretty good. Okay. And then I'm going to color in over here. And the red is actually a little bit hard, like it's dried out a little bit. So you're going to have to push a little bit extra hard. And see how I'm going back and forth, not up and down? You want to go side to side. Make it look like sky. Okay. Now, we're going to do a little bit in the water because we want the reflection of the sky in the water, but over top of the water we're going to take our blue and we're going to go all the way over everything down here, because now we've made a reflection in the water and it looks like the buildings and stuff are reflecting in the water, but at the same time it still looks like water. Okay, so see how cool that is? Alright, and next we are going to make the fireworks, and you'll see how we do that in a second with a glue and some glitter. Okay.